Hello everyone, this is Friday. I am doing the 15th day of live coding for StarkOS, the JavaScript orchestrated operating system. Let's play some music. It's gonna be the Bass Rebels, no copyright on Spotify. Okay. Um. Okay. So here's what I did last time. Go back and I get okay. So for one thing, I was able to create these pods. So the actual deployment, the deployed software on the resource, on the computing or node resource, is called a pod. And then it comes from a package up in the upstream user database of my orchestrator. So one of these packages gets turned into a pod. And what I had so far was it would just initialize. So when I started up the software, it would copy any pods, and that would be that. And what I did here, whoops, what I did over this week is I basically I coded and tested the ability to look at this package. So watching this package here, and based on its availability. Actually, I think I might have screwed something up. No. Okay. So based on this availability, it would delete the pod or not. And then I also did a tagging system where the node, so the resource itself, has to contain all the tags that are present on the package in order to deploy a pod to it if its availability is 1 or tag based. If it's 2 or any base, then it doesn't look at the tags. So that works. I verified this. And also what I verified is that I could reset the program so I could just shut down and restart, and it would essentially recalibrate or reinitialize those pods, even if they don't exist. So I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah, it restarts anyway. I did the test and it restarts, and it follows these settings. The only thing that wasn't set up so far up to my last change, not excluding my last change, was this number of pods in the balancing. So I'll explain that next. But also, when my node goes, it doesn't have anything to do with unavailable or available. It's always on or off. So if it's a tag, I guess it usually gets treated as on, but I want to kind of put it as, I want to switch around so that 0 means off, 1 means on, and then 2 means tags. But I'm too lazy to do that so far. So I'm just going to leave it to the community when I open source it. So yeah, when this goes off, everything gets deleted, including the deployment itself. Here, everything gets deleted here. Everything gets deleted from this property. And everything gets deleted from, all the pods get deleted from the node itself. So that's nice and decoupled, because as I manage these pods, then I also have a that's called a pod config manager that's doing that. And the pod manager itself responds to these pod, including the number of pods. So the pod manager will actually run multiple copies. It's not pulled up, I won't worry. It will actually run multiple copies of the software as long as this number is kept up to date. And it also includes the status, which I'm not even worried about right now. I tried to just keep it decoupled, so I might later on actually have to watch for statuses, because in complex software, usually I want my default pods to run first when it's initializing, and then I want the user pods to run afterwards. But right now I just don't care. It's not even slated for anything. So I also took a look at my to-dos, and I think I forgot this. No, it's right here. This is what I was talking about. I'll do the 0.9 later. Okay, so what's left that I was talking about, and that I kind of did a sprint this week after I was done with getting everything out last week, is like getting everything tested. I mean, that I was talking about last week, is I was doing a spike on the actual managing of these number of pods for here. So destination is here, and then the actual source of that management is here. So that's what I implemented, is just not done. Oh, and I forgot. So to go through the code, but I don't really want to. Um, what did I do? React to packages and add the pod. And then this is kind of what I check, that everything is able to be managed. And I check the tags as well. So this is kind of like my validation logic right here. Most of that. Yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to say is that these tags, as well as this flag on the user node, is a retroactive. So once they've deployed, you'd have to reset the whole thing, and it's kind of assumed you know that at the start. Because later on, in order to have better security, you could change the pods or the tags in order to fortify your deployed node. But if you actually change the node, then it's a live situation, or the package, of course. It's a live situation that needs to be responded at. So that's cool to me. I got that working fairly fast. And then this is kind of I made these node configs and the user configs update themselves live. Wow. I think this was in the initializer actually. It just doesn't show it. So they update themselves live, and then this thing just, as you can see here, it avoids the load. It just updates the entity from any change to the database. And I guess the second step was where I decided I would honor that flag on the node and the user. So yeah, these two changes, as you can see, I did them a few days ago, and then I started working on how the heck do I do a pod balancer, because that was sort of frustrating to do all at once. And I thought, I'll explain this in a bit though. I don't want to get into it because I also wanted to chat about my to-do list. So let's see. Here's my full to-do list that evolved from last time. So as I was looking over these things, I decided that there's going to be a small beta, which is going to get me to start writing my first example, which includes the browser. So I'll have to port or normalize some of these JavaScript to be isomorphic so that I can just copy and paste that to the browser. Some of this shared stuff is pretty isomorphic, but I'm just worried some of it might not fly. I don't know. We'll have to do a thorough check. So for the beta, I'm basically done writing, or at least designing for the most part, what I want this pod balancing or these properties. How do I manage the pods according to the package number of pods and the normative maximum pods? So that's almost done. I actually coded a really small, insignificant version based on timeouts, but I don't like that because it's too slow for the main part. I don't have any fixed ideas about using timeouts when it's appropriate, and I am tempted to use them sometimes, but it's just slow. Like, I don't want to waste 5 seconds if I can just get my change, and especially because, uh, what's it called? CouchDB actually has versioning, so it throws an error if your version property is out of date. So there is no reason. I've already done a retry. There's a retry library that I used, and it's fine to do it that way in order to go faster, even though it has timeouts itself. Like, it will kind of slow down. It'll throttle its own retries, which is super easy and nice to do. And then the next week, I hope I can get that done today. So I'm going to put in a retry logic, and then it will basically increment this number of pods when it creates a node that it can initialize a pod on. It can go over the max pods. The only thing is, once I initialize this pod balancer as well, or the pod number manager, I called it, which uses a pod balancer object. So this is a service and this is an object because it has the parse save, load save, initialize, load save. Why do I need this? Oh yeah, I don't need that. Okay. So there goes the sleep. Okay. So that's today, and then I'm going to test that. Everything else should be working. Like, everything to do with the features of my orchestrator is working. The only thing I will have to do is testing memory leaks and also network issues that I haven't tested. And I'll get to that in the full beta. But first, I will basically have to do a service. So the service infrastructure basically relies on the user database. So here I will have a document per service that will contain an array of requests and responses and assigned pod instances. It will have a list of assigned pod instances, each with their own ID, and then if my request times out, some other instance, or even the same instance if it's not too busy, it will grab that request, and that's how the services are gonna be handled. They're gonna be distributed out that way. So it will just retry on a throttled retry by each of the pod instances on that one service. If they're participating, they'll be looking at this user document. And I guess I'll have to replicate that to each one of my nodes. So that, because otherwise I would have to. So let's see how I would do that. Because now I'm intrigued, right? So a few options. So I could I could run so I can't do this, right? Run each. Actually, now that I'm brainstorming, I shouldn't be saying I can't, because I look like a butt. Um, run the service. Run the service API service on the node. On the node for each pod instance. So this is like the pod. This is like the pod manager. So the reason why I don't want to do this is because I don't want to. The security won't be good, right? So, and if it is good, or it will, but I have to copy my service. I have to copy my service to the node through code, which is a lot of code, right? So also, what I could do is I could just replicate the service request doc to the node and have the local pod instances compete over that part of the list. So yeah, I think I want to do this. So, but the only con I can see is that there are two parts to this. The user balancer, the user to node balancer, the and the and this might have some problems with balance because if I have 10 pods on one node and one pod on the other node, then I'd have to prioritize the I'd have to include the duplicates of how many pods. So yeah, the logic might be a bit harder, but I think that's how I'm gonna do it. And the node to pods balancer. So more complex. So I've already made the decision, I think, because this would give me the best bet, even though it's a bit more complex. I think the complexity is just in my mind. I think once I write the actual like array of number of pods and I keep that updated, oh man, I might even have to do that every time because it's not a big array, right? So it'll just have to keep the node config, the package configs, I guess, with the number of pods, and we'll have to keep them updated like I'm already doing with other entities. Let's see, package config. I think it's updated already. Self-updated. Yeah. So it'll just have to do that every time it needs to delegate a certain amount of requests. Like I think I'll do them batched or something, so I don't have to call this a lot. So that's how that's gonna happen. So that because requests are a lot more live and it'll hurt performance. I'll try to. It's like the most performance oriented part of the application or of the orchestrator is the service the service balancer, right? And I forget what's the high availability and ingress. Um, so here, so load balancer. Okay, since I might need both. Oh, okay. So I have to remember this. Okay, so it's like a router. So mine is more of a balancer. So the service thing is sort of an ingress thing. I suppose it's already implied that when you call such and such service, it will route you automatically whatever to whatever service if you have the right tags slash security slash request, I guess. Anyway, or actual destination actually exists. Okay, cool. So what also happened in other news before I go on to the really cool news? I found this library and I told them I was trying to use it and I told them to stop changing arrays to well stop changing arrays to objects. It's a difference just because I'm getting tired of this I got tired after I explained what I have to do to get to beta 0.8. So here's a sidetrack of news. So in order to do this whole balancer, I have to know what the difference is between the state and the new state. So I use a library to do that. And I had to file an issue report because apparently they can't tell between arrays and objects. And then I have this guy who's like, but objects are so much smaller. And I'm like, but types are so much more accurate. And yeah, it's like um, every programmer argument ever. Yeah, not fun. What is fun though? Anyway, I can use the library. It's just hilarious that they didn't care. And then actually the guy goes through all that argument, and at the end goes, "Oh hey, look, we actually don't care." like my thing was, if you compare two arrays, you should get an array. And he's like, but if you compare an array and an object, you still get nothing. So yeah, um, it was hilarious. Um, where are we? Okay, so that wasn't as exciting as I'm going. Once I'm done the service thing, I'm going to the browser. It's basically going to treat the browser as a resource. So I bought it. I bought it. I think it's bought. Anyway, which bot do you mean? Like the hacker bot. No, I mean like the cash bank bot. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do with that is if you look at our webpage, which I will go at now. I didn't update this. Sorry, dudes. Wow. I should have done that last time. Oh well. So, if you look at the video on Google Maps, because I'm cool like that. Where is it? Sorry. Why am I sorry? I'm not sorry. So yeah, you can see the video drone, and you could do that with browsers on phones, like you can see here. Let me just leave it there. Whoopsie. Okay, so those are phones that basically just, even this dinky little iPhone, that's basically just scrubbing along for the images. It's not actually outputting any sound, and the video isn't playing. But it's doing it pretty fast, which is hilarious. Because iPhone, right? Can't handle web standards. I'm sure they can if you buy the $1,200 one, but not the small one, because your screen too small. But no, I love iPhone. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fanboy like that, because I'm gonna have my own OS, and we're all gonna have a Parabellum over there with all this $200 technology. So anyway, what were we saying? So instead of this video stuff, because your arm might hurt, right? Like if you're a bunch of people with their video, and you have Brave, and then you can put it on, keep playing the media while the screen is off, but like then you're probably still downloading. I haven't checked it, but you're probably still downloading the video, and it's not streamlined. And that was just like a prototype that wasn't like really had this foundation of an orchestrating OS under it. So yeah, my first example. Once I'm done this, my boy over here, my boy from the British, I don't even know what it's called, man. Great Britain. Let me see. Yeah, he's got these giant drones. Hold on, let me show you guys. We haven't talked much or at all. Well, not much actually, because he did say something. I think when I was on his videos on live. But yeah, he makes drones, bro, and like he makes synthesizer drones. Look at him go, and he's gotta spend his time just soldering his stuff together to make the freaking drone, right? So what I'm gonna do for him is he's just gonna stick a Raspberry Pi or whatever board with an operating system on it, and and then all he has to do is stick the wire in it, and he can have whatever synthesizer slash speaker drone in about a month. So yeah, I wish I could have just like said something and he got notified right just then. But this gotta be hilarious. He doesn't have to do any more soldering. He's gonna be more of a switchboard type of deal. And then program. Actually, he asked his viewers to program in like C, C++, and I was like, no, bro, you can't. I can't just be asked to do that because it's not JavaScript. JavaScript's like the most amazingly popular language, and we all know how popularity rules the world of democracy, right? So yeah, not even a month, and that's gonna be done. Like I doubt he would even need this service, which I'm gonna do in the second part of that month if this whole balancing thing takes me forever. But I doubt it's gonna take a month. It's probably gonna be more like 2 weeks, if that. With the browser, yeah, maybe 2 months, maybe a month. Till I hand them the drones, right? And then like we're just gonna have people in the street just like from home, just go to the site, be like, okay, let me download the MP3s, and then once you're in the street, you just press the button, and boom, you just all your peeps are just gonna start peeping so loud together that you're gonna cause a noise complaint. It's gonna be hilarious. You know V for Vendetta? Yeah, we're blowing the roof off that building. That's like when I was the video drones. I had to put a code on that because let me get back to that. Where is it? So I like to brag now because I'm so close, right? Hold on. Hold on. Yes, I'm sorry. So not sorry. So hold on. So you know how they're all trying to do like quantum BS that like you can make a metamaterial that's so cool, like like this moron. Where is it? Invisible glass. where is it? Videos. Invisible glass cloak. Yeah, this moron right here. Like this is so contrived. You could probably you can see the difference in it's not look at that. As much as I like scientists, I'm a bit of a skeptic when it comes to you can even see the lack of resolution of this glass, right? Like it's not exactly like you wouldn't be able to detect it even without any sort of EM detecting equipment or infrared or something, right? You just look at it and it's like, okay, Like, I get that I can't see what's behind it, but I can see that you're trying to hide something, right? And then that just like makes me want to go over there and punch you for hiding, right? So my idea was also kind of like the reason why I had to restrict the access to this when I was kind of like being ignored by everybody with my prototype is I had to restrict it because it had the ability to put like live YouTube, so you could definitely make like that kind of a cloak, but a lot harder to spot with the naked eye, right? So so yeah, don't trust what you see anymore. This is what I gotta say. Um, so once I make this example with such a orchestrating OS, then the video is kind of like I already have the rest of the browser code that I can just port that, and then like you won't see my car on the highway. So it'll be jokes when I drive. Um, Along with all the robotics that I can toss into it too. Like I want to do like all sorts of fun things. I know Amazon just launched their own drone in a van program, which I hope they really keep secured, because I wouldn't want anybody else, like a predator or something, going out there with a van and a bunch of drones. um, that's not funny. Okay, so let's get going through this. I'm thoroughly distracted that I'm well rested to go through the rest of my to-do list here of what I'm gonna do after I'm done like kicking the pressing the butt with my press release is gonna happen on my beta 0.8 right here. And then I guess this is gonna mark the official open source release right here. So that's where that's going. Okay, so after that, and then I'm probably gonna do like a I guess I need people to fix these bugs, right? So I'm gonna do like a recruitment here. Recruitment drive, right? So once I do the open source release, I'm gonna do a volunteer recruitment drive for people to fix my bugs, right? Because nobody likes fixing bugs. Everybody likes having the honor of having the best idea. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. On LinkedIn, right? How do I know this is the best idea? Hold on. Let's see. Wait for it. So, actually, no, JavaScript. Yeah, so I'm in this group or this company, I guess. They don't have any people, right? Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know. But anyway, along with my own Reddit kind of, I noticed some posts on Reddit that I'm gonna have to do like a press release and all that. Wait for it. Wait for it. It was close to this. Um, I think they might have deleted it because I was too cold for them. Let's see. Oh man, why do my posts always get deleted? Come on. Maybe I didn't see it. This is 1 month, so for sure they deleted something. Let's see. Yeah, what happened between 3 months and 1 day? Like, come on. Sort by top. Oh, recent. Oh, damn it. Okay, let's try this again. 1 week. 2 weeks. Oh, and there's Kubernetes somewhere. Where? Oh, you know what I'm doing. Damn LinkedIn, you can't you can't screw with me now. Whoopsie. Oh no, that's the other one. Okay. No. So, you know what this means? This means I've been baited. Hmm. Look at these jerks changing their mind when I clearly. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going back, but I think I took a screenshot too, and it was like 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 developers that liked that post. There was something ranting about Kubernetes and how they don't like it in JavaScript. And I was like, yeah, you guys might like what I'm working on. And now the post is gone. But this one's still here, which is I basically said, yeah, well, when the front end designs the back end, the reverse is basically like a bowl of cannibal spaghetti because it's basically every back end ever is designed by the front end. Um, but I guess they don't want to put a video of that because that would be too gross. So yeah, now I'm even more rested. So let's go through this to-do list. So yeah, in the core, I saw my database complain about the schema being changed too many times. Because I reuse the same database, and here on the front, on the Edge package, it's a lot easier not to. So I might just have to fix that bug later on. I will put in podm the actual thing that deploys the pod. I'm just running the thing on the same thread, and I would like the sandbox, and I would need to do. I don't know if yeah, it's not a sandbox if I run it on the same thread. I don't want to do that at all. I would have an option of either CPU, like a different process, or a different thread, but not definitely not the same one. Here. So this is what I was saying before with respecting the status that I don't care about right now. this is about this part, which I forgot to check actually. So you can see here, you can see here in the settings, because I didn't change my settings, if I, oh, actually because I set up this, let me just check something. Okay. Because I set up my virtual machine to reset for me, like to save the state, those settings get saved, but when it's restarted, I have to set them again through here. And I'd rather do that than manage a bunch of settings, because who likes settings? That's more of a back-end thing, and this is what it's about, avoiding a back-end. And I want to basically create a script that for the Edge and the browser that either settings or reads the memory and then uploads the same settings as before. And then not just the start, but I also want to stop. So of course, 0, but it doesn't actually shut down the node like the node process itself. And I want that to be done as well to perform the operating system integration. And then there's also these default packages from user config that I'm just not worrying about right now. So here, these are just the default ones. They're not actually accounted for when I create any random package. I guess you might actually want to put the word default in there just to know. But, I'm not bothering with that. So these small things that just make it extra good, that basically make it a more complete product. And then, but not ready for monetization, right? So Beta 1.0 is going to be ready for monetization, and it's going to include the security updates with regards to the user credentials being moved to one trusted node that's set up by the user themselves, or like the first node, I guess. I don't care. Monitor the health of pods and nodes, at least something minimal. I want to do for services. So I want to do those requests that you can basically share end nodes. You want to share services and nodes between users. But not pods. That would kind of break my boundary, I think. And maybe packages. Yeah, packages. Sorry, I have a bit of a Yoda problem. I noticed that when I was doing university too. It was like that passive tense, it improves your writing so much when you don't do it. It's just hard to get out of it because that's kind of like a problem with speech, I guess. Yeah, so also I'm going to stop relying on user keys and go just to public key crypto, which is a bit tougher, but hey, it's almost done because I'm using PGP for my packages anyway. Um, yeah, which goes well with the shared stuff. It's gonna come into that. So I'm gonna do some testing for memory and network issues at that point, just to make sure it's all complete and being able to handle the load. Once I like, this is gonna be like a limited trial. That's not gonna include a lot of people and a lot of money and a lot of time. It's just work or not. This one's gonna be cool, and then people are gonna start paying and actually using it as a software service. So I'm gonna be handing them out the actual um, logins and make them pay for the service, and that's what's gonna ultimately drive this. It's not gonna be automated testing from the start, but it's gonna be pretty good, I think, because it's all through the database, right? Not necessarily actually, because you'd have to expose pretty much everything that's going on. So I might have to have like extra code to write to the database what exactly is happening, and then do audits. So yeah, audits, um, instrumentation, logs, etc. Okay, so once that, and don't forget, we're gonna have a team doing it. Ever since ever since we handled the small bugs, so of course this is gonna be a pleasure by the time they get to it. It's gonna be like the long haul. It's gonna be the let's see who's sticking around versus who's here just to say that they contributed in that one time and then resume pad and whatever. So that's gonna be the beta, and then for the full one we're gonna add features, right? Once it's tested in battle mode, we're gonna add the ability to uh, combine pods, which I don't think is actually that necessary because they sort of run on the same thing, and you don't need that much security anyway to if you actually want to pump to really important pods. You don't need it like right at the beginning. Like nobody's gonna try and deploy to you um, some administrator level software. Then you're just gonna go, oh yeah, here's my permissions, and then have the whole service kind of get infected with some virus or another. And then that's kind of like the smaller feature that I can see that's not necessary, but definitely worth a look at. We're going to take away the core. So that means instead of, we're going to take more and more away from the core. So let's see what's in the core. So you register nodes, you register users. I don't even have that much running in my core package. Right? I don't have anything running in my core package right now. Although I can see some services and other things running there, I have nothing like in terms of default. So it's easy to be decentralized. That's how it's built. It's just not yet. I guess if you assign yourself some random node, as long as it doesn't collide with any of your friends or something, you might be able to get rid of it. So PouchDB will be able to connect to each other in some secure way and be able to synchronize. It's far away, so I'm not too worried about that. And last but not least, definitely not least, is I was ragging about the trillions of dollars that these BSers are making, selling you their cloud platforms with all their picked and managed services. Well, as much as I love trillion-dollar BSers, I think our people, the people, brothers and sisters, should be paid, by wholesale if they have some old laptop or phone or technology. They should be paid a premium, not less, but more. So more than trillions of dollars to billions of people. To how much? Let's see. Many devices online, 2019. Let's say 21.5 billion devices, right? So for sure you can get trillions of dollars out of that if you get paid even more for extra privacy, let's say, out of every single one of those devices running essentially what is today's web technology, but federated into clusters and clouds that basically make up these new light, portable, self-distributed services. Even banks, I think, once we start rolling with through what's it called, blockchain and e-coins, right? So that's that announcement. It's a very low key announcement because I realized I didn't even put it on my media channels or anything. It's just for the in crowd. The guy who's sitting on the least like Twitter or whatever, where I can't really manage who sees or I don't really get the stats. It's for that guy. So you know where the trillions are going, bro, Seth. My throat's getting kind of dry from all this to dos. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my first bank on my system, in order to showcase just what an important piece of amazing, secure, popular technology I am not being listened to while I'm building. So yeah, when am I gonna get to this point? Well, I don't think it would take me more than a quarter to get let's say 5 really passionate volunteer developers. I don't think it'd take me more than a quarter and then maybe another one, so half a year to get to this point. So let's see. So this is 1 month. So this is 2 months. This is 1.5 quarters. So what's half a quarter, A year, 13 and a half months, right? How about this timeline, Mr. Investor Bro Seth? So 2.5 quarters, something like that. What was I saying? A year? Hey, yeah, let's say a year. Just because I'm nice like that. Okay. And I'm really not saying what my other applications are. So this is like the stealth start of mystery um $3 initiative. So so in addition to this massive overtaking of $1 trillion closed in Apple type BSing of the cloud, um, there's going to be another initiative that I'm just going to completely, completely just blow right in all the holes, like 5 holes in one shot kind of deal. That's going to also propel us to be able to fund and all that good jazz, right? So thank you, Saxman. Let's get to the coding. Oh, no, I'm tired. No, I'm kidding. That's good. My voice is hoarse, so let's see if I can do this without talking too much. But first, a break. Okay, so let's see. Excuse me. So it's already doing this.